one of my favorite things that I have ever learned in personal development and how I show up as a mother, spouse, daughter, everything, is how you show up every day in your life. The top of the funnel when it comes to how you show up in your life, point blank period, it starts with your thoughts. Everything in this noggin and what you ultimately believe to be true. That falls under from personal experiences, trauma, everything that we suck in from online, everything we suck in from other people, and just how we grow as individuals. Then after that is your habits and your patterns in what you do based off of those thoughts of what you ultimately believe to be true. Example, as a mother, I believe that my son needs to eat right on the dot or within the hour. And if he doesn't, he's going to be crying and all that stuff. So since I have that belief at the top of once it hits 7 o'clock, if he does not start having his bottle ready, this man is about to throw a tantrum. So my actions from that thought is I need to make sure food is prepped and I need to make sure his diaper is changed right around that 7 o'clock or it's not going to be a good 5 minutes. So I need to then show up to meet that need of that thought. So I show up by the action of preparing everything and getting everything ready. Because if I don't do the thought that I had and the identity that I have, the belief that I have formed, what I'm going to feel is going to be true, or the consequence of me not following what my brain and what I train my brain to believe is I'm not going to be happy because he's going to start freaking out. And then I'm going to be upset at myself because the consequence of I was not prepared for the situation to occur because I was so stuck on that belief. When in reality, he could be fine. He couldn't cry. He could go an hour. He could go 30 minutes. Like, he will be okay. And there's other self-soothing ways. But because ultimately I have that belief, I have that thought pattern, I have that hardcore belief in my head that this is going to be this way. If I don't do X, Y, and Z at this time, your body naturally is going to cater to your beliefs and cater to your perception because it's a survival thing. It is my body needs to tend to what I believe first. And so that's just a mom example, but it's literally like that for every single thing in your life. And when you really think about it and you think about the good and the bad habits that we have and how we show up and how we respond to things, it's easier to then have the self-awareness of where can I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? Where can I correct this so this situation doesn't happen again? Because really when it comes down beliefs and identity and what you believe to be true, like I said, your body and your brain is up to catering to what you implant in your brain and what you believe to be true. And if you don't get that way, your brain will do whatever it needs to do to make sure that it fulfills that dominant thought, that dominant need, because it cares. And that's what it's here to do. And so when you have a sticky situation or a not so fun way of doing things, for me, what I'm working on is what I believe ultimately when it comes to if somebody does something to me and I feel like they betrayed me or they hurt me, my first emotional signal is to get upset and I'll think about it, but I'll also just okay, step away and kind of shut down. I will just start saying okay in conversations. I won't even keep talking, which is not healthy. And I know it's not healthy. But the reason, and when you look at it, okay, my ultimate belief is as soon as somebody is attacking me or betraying me or questioning my character, my action is I shut down. And then I identify and I show up with the action of, well, I just shut down when people start attacking my character. I just shut down when people don't, like, it's not working. And so that's not healthy. And I know it's not healthy. But that's what I mean, is when you really look at it like that. So what I need to do is work on, well, why do I shut down? And how can I prevent that from happening next time I'm in a situation like this? What belief do I need to shift in my head that will make me and the person be able to have a healthy conversation without me shutting down, and with me hearing their side and my side and talking and figuring out in a healthy way instead of shutting down and moving on. So I'm really working on that right now. But when you really think about it like that, it's hard. It's really hard. It's really hard work. And I give credit to, I've heard this from like Tony Robbins, and I think he learned it from Jim Rohn, but it's really hard to sit there and recognize what you did in a situation and recognize how you acted or how you perceive things and what your action was, and to investigate yourself of where you could have shown up better. But like, we're human. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we have to do. And in order to grow, you have to just keep kicking it and keep noticing where you could have been better. And yeah, I mean, that's just it. So thanks for listening. Long talk, but I think that is like one of the most powerful things I have ever learned in my entire life. And it's easy when you know that and have that in your tool belt, because then you kind of can know why certain people act a certain way towards other people, and if that pattern will show up again. So that's why I believe on that, actions speak louder than words, because the words you say, if you don't fully believe it in your head, if you don't believe what you're saying and you were just talking, then what you're saying doesn't matter. That's why the actions and the habits and how you show up matters, because then it all correlates to what you believe and what you said. And when you show people that, and you show people that you're serious about what you said, then people will be more willing and cognizant of, yeah, you know what, you're right. Like, let me show you. And it's good. It's really, I think that just needs to be talked about more, because therapy's not cheap, but I've learned a lot. And I've learned a lot, and I've adjusted and corrected a lot in every situation that I'm in, good and bad. I look at, I investigate, I think about how I responded, and if it's on video, like, I will listen to myself and, like, where did I go wrong? Because you can't grow unless you figure out what you did wrong, and you can't grow unless you take action and change what you did wrong and prepare, so then when you're in that next situation that's similar, because you probably will be, because nobody's perfect and everybody's pretty much the same, everybody acts the same, everybody thinks the same, but you then know how to tackle it, and you can show up in a better way that's going to be better for all parties. And being a mother, that helps with showing up for your child, because then you can help them develop into a good person, and understanding what they're feeling, why they're feeling it, and how to go about it, instead of just shoving it down or feeling like, why me, or feeling like they need to be a victim, because it's all self-soothing, it's all self-identifying. And also, like, on top of that, when you're sitting here and you you go through these habits and these identities and these feelings and these emotions that you do, sometimes like for me, like when it comes to just shutting down and just being like, okay, you know what, okay, like I've said what I said, okay, whatever, like it can be to some people like, okay, well that's where my comfort lies. It is more uncomfortable for me to investigate it and more uncomfortable for me to try to change that habit because I'm not used to that than it is just staying the same. And that's where it's hard in this world, and I think why so many people have such a hard time shifting, because it sometimes it is more comfortable to just be in the unhealthy habit. And that's not wrong. Nothing's ever wrong. But to call for growth, to try to be better, to try to grow more, you just have to investigate those things. And nobody's perfect. And nobody's gonna ever be perfect. But that's the point of life, is to grow, to understand, to hear people out, to see things and to adjust and really just learn. But yeah. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. 14 minutes in. Have a great Sunday.